In today's video, we are talking about one of the narcissist's very favorite manipulation tactics that they use to escape accountability and shift blame for something they did right back onto you. And it's a dirty and very psychologically abusive trick. Today, we're talking about how narcissists weaponize your normal reactions to their behavior as you just being too sensitive. Being called too sensitive for reacting to abuse or disrespect isn't only completely dismissive and disrespectful to your feelings, it is manipulation at its finest. It's a calculated form of gaslighting that narcissists and toxic individuals use to distort reality, shift blame, and invalidate their victims' legitimate emotional responses. Because by making the conversation about your reaction rather than their actions, they escape accountability and reframe themselves as the reasonable one, while painting you as irrational, over-emotional, or even unstable. The goal for using this tactic is to make you doubt your own perceptions, your beliefs, and ultimately your feelings about yourself. When someone repeatedly tells you that your feelings are exaggerated or unwarranted, they are not simply offering an opinion. They are rewriting reality in a way that protects them and undermines you. And when you internalize this false narrative, you become easier to manipulate, easier to silence, and easier to control. And that, my friends, is the name of the game. And today we are going to dive into this topic and explain how they do this successfully, what to be watching out for, and how to protect yourself from this dirty trick in the future. But first, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in private narcissistic abuse recovery sessions with me, or if you would like more information on my new course and private community of survivors where we have weekly group sessions, all the links are listed in the description below. So today we are talking about one of the dirtiest manipulation tactics that narcissists use to escape accountability and shift blame onto you that I call weaponizing sensitivity. And one of the most dangerous aspects of this tactic is how seamlessly it flips the script, shifting attention away from the narcissist's behavior and onto your reaction. Sometimes we refer to this tactic as reactive abuse because we all know that narcissists thrive on control and dominance, and they despise being confronted or held accountable. They are not interested in engaging in self-reflection or taking responsibility. So they reframe the situation so that you appear to be unreasonable. So, for example, they might say things like, "Wow, God, I was just joking. You're way too sensitive." Or, "Why do you always take things so personally?" Or, "Nobody else would react this way. You need to toughen up." Or they might say, "You make such a big deal out of everything. God, just let it go." And the goal of these statements is not to express genuine concern for your feelings and emotional well-being. It's to convince you that your pain is invalid. And once that seed of doubt is planted in your mind successfully, the narcissist knows they no longer have to defend their actions. Instead, you are left defending your right to feel. And this is where they gain the upper hand. The conversation is no longer about their toxic behavior. Now it's about whether you're being too emotional, too sensitive, or too dramatic. By shifting the focus, they successfully evade accountability while making you second guess yourself. What makes this tactic so devastating is how deeply it seeps into a victim's psyche over time. Emotional abuse is not always obvious. It works in subtle, repetitive ways that wears down your defenses until you begin doubting your own reality. When someone repeatedly tells you that you're overreacting or too emotional, you begin to internalize it. You start questioning whether your instincts are flawed, whether your feelings are exaggerated, whether your pain is real. And this, my friends, is classic gaslighting, meaning they are manipulating someone, you in this case, into doubting your own experiences and your accurate understanding of reality. Over time, this emotional erosion will usually lead to several damaging outcomes. First, you begin dismissing your own emotions before anyone else does, thinking, here I go again, I really am overreacting. You also will stop voicing your discomfort or setting boundaries out of fear of being labeled dramatic or a drama queen. Also, you eventually become emotionally numb because you've been conditioned to suppress your reactions and discount your true feelings. And over time, you lose trust in yourself and become more and more dependent on the narcissist's interpretation of reality rather than your own perceptions. And this is exactly what the narcissist wants: a self-doubting, emotionally silenced individual who is easier to control. The more you question yourself, the less likely you are to challenge them, set boundaries, or leave the toxic dynamic. Unfortunately, this form of psychological manipulation is especially effective on empathetic, kind-hearted individuals who naturally seek harmony and self-improvement. If you're someone who values introspection and growth, you are more likely to take criticism seriously and question whether there's truth in what's being said about you. And this is where the danger lies. Narcissists exploit your desire to be a better person by making you feel like your natural emotional responses are flaws that need fixing. They train you to believe that standing up for yourself is an overreaction, that setting boundaries is unfair, and that reacting to cruelty is the real problem, not the cruelty itself. If you start to believe that you are actually being too sensitive, you will begin to silence yourself to avoid being dramatic, excuse toxic behavior in others. You'll start to believe that you are the problem, which usually means you will stay in unhealthy relationships out of self-doubt, and eventually you will become emotionally detached or internally numb. The more this cycle continues, the easier it becomes for the narcissist to maintain control, and the longer you stay in this invalidation trap, as I call it, the harder it becomes to recognize that you are not the problem, they are. So if any of these things that I have talked about today sounds familiar to you, please know there's one truth to hold on to, which is your emotions are not the problem. Their behavior is. Sensitivity is not a weakness. It's an inner alarm system that alerts you to mistreatment. Dismissing or minimizing it only serves to keep you trapped in an environment where abuse is normalized. The first step to breaking free is rejecting their false narrative and reclaiming your emotional clarity. Remember, you need to trust your feelings. If something feels wrong, it is wrong. Your intuition is not flawed. It is your greatest survival tool. Refuse to engage in the gaslighting. Instead of defending your emotions, redirect the focus. Tell the narcissist that this isn't about me being sensitive. This is about you being disrespectful. Also, surround yourself with people who validate and respect your emotions. Having a supportive environment helps undo the damage of repeated invalidation. Also, set boundaries and stand by them. No explanation required. Your limits deserve to be honored, and remind yourself daily, your emotions are not an inconvenience. You are not too much. You are not overreacting. You are not responding inappropriately. You are appropriately responding to toxic behavior. When a narcissist tells you that you're too sensitive, what they're really saying is, I don't want to be held accountable for how I treat you. So please don't fall for it. Your emotions are not a weakness. They are a compass. And the moment you start trusting them again, you take back your control. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.